Hello friends, my name is Marina and this is Rapunzel Fiber Arts. This is going to be my Tour de Fleece week 3 part 2 vlog. So I've been spinning a lot for Tour de Fleece so far this year. I'll show you. So far, this is how much finished yarn I have, plus one more of these that's still on the bobbin. I have been spinning and plying up an absolute storm, getting lots done the last couple of weeks, and I am hopeful that this remaining just under a week of Tour de Fleece continues to be just as productive. Today is day 17 of Tour de Fleece. We have 5-ish days left. Today's Wednesday and it runs through next Sunday. So that's great. I have big goals left because I have a bunch of the white and black Corriedale that I still want to ply. That's this, and also this is the finished yarn. So I have all the white stuff spun, but I'm working on finishing up the black Corriedale Cross that I have to spin for part of this project and then ply it, and that's my big goal for Tour de Fleece. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually achieve that, but I'm hopeful that I will. I have big goals. That's my plan for the rest of Tour de Fleece, and that's the projects I'm going to be taking you along with me for the next 5-ish days. So let's get into it. This is what I have on my bobbin right now. It's some of that black Corriedale Cross I was just showing you in the bump. I have to fill this bobbin and then I can get back to plying, and then I'll probably have to spin a little bit more of this black Corriedale Cross before I'm all the way done with this project, which is why I think my goal might be a little bit of an overachievement type goal, because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. I spun most of this bobbin yesterday, so it is possible, but it depends on a lot of things like time and energy and whether my wrist starts to complain, so I have to take breaks. But I have the hope that I will finish this project, if not during the tour, then shortly thereafter, because the plan that I have is to take all of these finished skeins, which I expect I will have at least 6 or 7 of, plus this little sample skein that I did, which is already washed. These ones aren't washed yet. But my goal is to take these skeins, ship them to my friend Lauren over at Valkyrie Fibers, who is a very creative and talented dyer, and have her dye or over dye these skeins for me. Because I think like a deep blue or purple or something with this black ply will be very interesting as a final yarn. So I don't have the dyeing skills necessary to do that, but she does, and she is very talented, and I am very excited for the final version of this yarn and the eventual project I will make with it. So I'm going to get back into spinning. Like I said, my goal is to finish this bobbin in the next couple of days so that I can spend the weekend doing some plying and finishing of this yarn. Big goals, but not unattainable, again, as long as everything goes according to plan and my body and brain behave themselves. So I'm going to get straight into doing some plying on my e-spinner. I also have my treadle wheel going with a separate already dyed project, because sometimes you need a little bit of color in your life. I will put a picture of that right here so that you can see it. And if you are new to the channel or new to this series, I will also link up in the cards the playlist of videos for Tour de Fleece 2025 if you want to check those out before you get into this video, so you can see my full recap and vlogging adventures in the last 2.5 weeks. I'm gonna get to spinning. I hope you enjoy. All right, so I just spent like an hour on a Zoom call with my friend Lauren talking about how exciting this is gonna be and some other stuff too, of course. But I made awesome progress on this bobbin. I think I will definitely finish this bobbin between today and tomorrow, which means that Friday and Saturday and Sunday will be for plying and then maybe spinning up a little bit more, depending on how much of the white I end up having. I'm really excited. I'm so pumped for this. We decided it's going to be blue or purple, so I can't wait to see what she does. I'm so excited. Anyway, I just wanted to check in. That's it for now. Hello friends, and good morning. It is day 18 of Tour de Fleece. I did a little bit more spinning last night, so this bobbin is getting pretty full. I'm hoping maybe today, maybe tomorrow, I'll finish this bobbin and then spend the weekend plying my heart out. And then, hopefully, I will have at least 6 of these skeins. I have 3 so far from the first bobbin of black, and it might take a little bit more than another bobbin to finish plying all the white, but regardless, that will be a huge accomplishment for Tour de Fleece, even though, as previously mentioned, I did not spin all of my singles during the tour. I will still be very proud of that accomplishment. So let's get back to spinning. All right, friends. So I have been not doing a ton of spinning today. I spent some time doing some carding, making some bats based on K-pop Demon Hunters, which I will put images of here because I don't have them with me. They're upstairs. And then I made some decent progress on this bobbin of the black Corriedale Cross. It's looking okay. I'm really hoping to wrap this bobbin up tomorrow, but we'll have to wait and see about that. I might have hit my spinning threshold for the last couple weeks, so I'm starting to get a little bit tired of it. I also went to a craft night near me at a local restaurant and made some good progress on spinning on my treadle wheel, which I will put another picture of right here so that you can see what I did. But yeah, that's it for tonight. I'm tired. It's almost 9, so I'm going to get ready for bed. But I got some spinning done, I got some carding done, and had a pretty good day. So, talk to you in the morning. Hello. We are back. It is day 19, I think, of Tour de Fleece. It's pretty late in the day. I haven't done any spinning yet. I did some knitting on test knit, which I will insert a picture of because it is practically done, and that is super exciting. But I have this bobbin like half to 3/4 of the way filled with black singles, and I am officially super sick of it. So I'm gonna switch to plying because I'm gonna need to ply it eventually, and we might as well start working on that now. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I think this is okay. We have two and a little bit days left of Tour de Fleece, and I obviously want to finish as many skeins as possible. I think if I ply this, I'll get 2 more skeins done, combined with the White Corriedale, and that'll be good. Then I'll have 5 skeins done, and that'll be a huge accomplishment, even if I don't completely finish this project during the tour. That was originally my goal, but I'm not gonna beat myself up about it because I also hadn't intended on doing the ply of black Corriedale in with the white. That was kind of a spontaneous decision. So I ended up making my goal way bigger. So I'm okay with not achieving that goal, assuming I don't, which I don't think I will because I have other things that I have to do this weekend instead of just spinning and plying. I'm gonna get to plying now and talk to you in a little bit. Alright friends, I finished plying this bobbin in like 2.5 hours or whatever, and I'm happy with that. I'm tired. It's 9 o'clock now. I thought about plying another bobbin up because I have the fiber, but I got a little bit sidetracked by this here test knit, which is now complete. Look, it has little bows on the shoulders. Oh, it's so cute. I'll put up some pictures of me wearing it too, but I just have to weave in ends and block this, and then it will be done. So, but the knitting is done, and the straps are done, and it's really cute. This is a test knit that I did for Perfectly Knotted. It's called the Calypso Camisole. And yeah, it's really freaking cute. It looks good over this dress, and then I'm also going to style it with like a t-shirt and shorts or something. But I'm happy with it. This is not something that I can wear just by itself because I have thick bra straps, but I think it'll look good over stuff, like over this dress and over, like I said, a t-shirt. I would have done more plying, but I got sidetracked by that project. So that's it for today. All I did spinning wise was ply this up, but I also finished that test knit and worked quite a bit on it today, which is good because it's due in like a week. So I have to block it and get it photographed and also fill out the survey and stuff like that. But other than that, that test knit is done. So that's very exciting. I'm really happy with this bobbin. I now have 4 big chonky skeins about this size because I have 2 bobbins that need to be skeined up plus 2 that are already in skeined form. And I'm hopefully going to do one more tomorrow, and then that might be it for Tour de Fleece. I know I was hoping to finish this whole project, but I'm not beating myself up about that because I had a big project to finish, and I'm happy that I made as much progress as I did. So I will check in with you tomorrow for the second to last day of Tour de Fleece. Bye, friends. Hello, friends. It is Saturday, day 20 of Tour de Fleece. My goal for today is to finish plying this black Corriedale. Obviously, I also have leftovers of this white, but my goal is to finish the black, do one more skein, and that'll bring me up to 5 huge finished skeins of this black and white Corriedale and Corriedale Cross, in addition to the 3 smaller skeins that I spun earlier during the tour. That might be all I do this Tour de Fleece, you know, all I do, but I think that'll still be pretty successful, and I'll be pleased with that. So yeah, I'm gonna get to plying one more bobbin of this black and white Corriedale. Alright, so you've seen me doing some plying. I just wanted to show you real quick the way I keep my singles kind of organized while I'm plying. So first of all, what's this called? Clothespin. Clothespin, great way to keep your twist on one side of your singles and the other side free of twist. I love my clothespin. It's very good. But what I actually wanted to show you was when you're plying multiple plies, which I guess is always the case when you're plying. They tend to want to like adhere to each other because wool is clingy with other wool. That's kind of what it does. So what I do to keep my singles from getting tangled in each other is I put a finger between each single. So like I'll put my pinky in front of one, and then my ring finger, and then my middle finger. And then that keeps those singles separated as I'm plying, which means that they're less likely to become tangled with each other. If the fiber starts pigtailing, which is when it like doubles back on itself, it's easier to pull that out without it getting caught on the other floofy singles, because this is long draw spun, so the singles are pretty floofy. They have bits of fluff kind of hanging off of them, and they want to grab onto each other because that's just the way wool likes to be. So yeah, when I'm plying, I like to keep a finger between all of my singles just to prevent them from becoming tangled with each other. And I wanted to show you that little tip in case you weren't already aware of it and you're dealing with tangling with your plying. So that was it. I just wanted to show you that. Oh, so see here we've got a pigtail, and just like that, it's easy to pull it out and prevent it from making its way into the final yarn. But I think I have to turn the tension up on my wheel because it's pigtailing in the plied yarn. So I'm going to turn my tension up. That happens sometimes. As your bobbin gets heavier, it requires a little bit of additional tension to prevent it from not getting sucked up onto the wheel. Yeah, that feels better. That feels better. I think that was the problem. So, yeah, I'm going to carry on plying. My bobbin's maybe half full now. So I've got another hour or so of sitting here and plying before this bobbin's done. But then I will have 5 finished skeins once I skein up the remaining 3 bobbins worth. Hello friends, it is Sunday, the last day of Tour de Fleece. I have done so much during this tour. I'm very proud of myself. So you've seen these skeins, which were my first finished skeins of the tour, and then my sampling for the big sweater spin. And then in terms of how much of that big sweater spin I've gotten done, I have 5 skeins. I have 5 enormous skeins of this black and white barber pole hand spun. And it looks really good. I'm really proud of it. I'm very tired. It has been so much spinning, so much plying, so much crafting, and I'm tired. So I'm taking today, the last day of Tour de Fleece, off from spinning, more or less. I might do a little bit of stuff on my treadle wheel, which I guess I should show you too, since I've been spinning on that during the tour, but I didn't bring it over right away, so I'll go grab that. So I also spun up this little bobbin of South American blend wool top, and it's lovely. I'm very pleased with it, but I feel like this little bobbin really pales in comparison to everything else that I got done in terms of these 5 huge skeins of Corriedale and Corriedale Cross that I didn't spin all of during the tour. The majority of the white was spun prior to the tour. I still have 3 partial bobbins left to ply, but I need to make more of the black singles before I can do that. So I spun a bunch of the white, a ton of the black, and then plied these big 5 skeins of the black and white barber pulled together. I also spun a little bit of this and plied them. And then this little bobbin of dyed combed top. So that is going to wrap it up for my Tour de Fleece vlog. I hope you enjoyed this journey we've been on together. Like I said, I'm proud. I'm very tired. It was also a late night last night. I went out for dinner with friends, but I'm very proud. It's been a great journey. It's been a very successful journey. I have a little bit more to spin and ply to finish this project, but I made an absolutely enormous dent with these huge 5 skeins. Like I said, the first ones that I finished weighed about 7 ounces each, which means I have over 2 pounds here, if that weight is accurate for all of them, which I believe it is. And if it's not, I'm still pretty close, because that would be 35 ounces and it's 32 ounces to be 2 pounds. So yeah, I finished 2 pounds plus of yarn during the tour. I'm very proud. I'm very tired. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this vlog. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you like, comment, subscribe to let me know that you appreciated all of the work that I did in sharing this with you and in doing this project. And yeah, happy spinning, happy crafting, and I'll see you in the next one.